Issue 74. Sonic tells his friends that everyone in Knothole has disappeared, and at this point, since he's lost his loved ones already once before, I can perfectly understand his depressed, disappointed reaction. He probably had that worry that this would happen for quite a while, and that's why he wasn't too surprised at actually happening. Yes! I love how Sonic stands up to the king. After the king idiotically tells him to just sit there and be calm after what just happened, Sonic snaps, "Calm? Calm? I've been reunited with my family after 10 years, now they're suddenly gone again, and you want me to keep calm?" 10 years? So is that why he wasn't used to having parents? They've been gone since he was 6? I also like how he shows some depth by going from angry to simply sad and kind of apologizing for his outburst so quickly. Like he showed some self-awareness of his behavior. Oh, you stupid king. I forbid you from taking any action! Fuck off. And Sally's actually stupid enough to agree with him, because letting those dangerous satellites just stay up there in the sky doing nothing to help the people of Knothole is totally the better option. Wasn't Sally supposed to be smart and a good person? So what if he's her father? I mean, this is definitely the lawful stupid side of her that I always saw. I love that Sonic remarks, "Give me one good reason why, princess." I'm glad that after Sally tells him that they've got to march in lockstep with whatever the king says, just because of the family he happens to belong to, Sonic is brave enough to say no, and maybe never again. I hope it doesn't cost him much. I'm glad Sonic's friends are loyal enough to come to help him on the outskirts of the city. Even Bunny! And even Antoine! Although it's weird that Sonic says he's going to pull a boneheaded move. He's supposed to be more confident in himself than that. So after proving their loyalty, Nate shows them a space shuttle designed to travel up to orbit that Rotor and him stumbled upon. Robotnik was going to use it to expand his range to the stars, but I guess he was just too busy on Mobius. How did Sonic not know what a space shuttle was? Nate says that some rings and fossil fuels will be able to take Sonic to those satellites just fine. Then Sonic whistles for Dulcie, which at first made me think Sonic was planning on riding her up into outer space and suffocating them both. But it turns out Sonic and Sally are going to be on the shuttle after all, and Dulcie's simply carrying it to help it break past the atmosphere better. I like that they actually bothered to give Sally and Sonic spacesuits to explain why they can breathe in space. The games never did that. Oh, Sally took Nicole into space too, and Nicole figures out that the 8 orbiting satellites joined together to form a space platform. And then Tails, oh, it was all the freedom fighters who came along. I mean, doesn't it seem a little risky? Can't, like, at least some of them stay behind? I mean, you're putting all your eggs into one basket. What if something happens to all of them at once? Tails asks what's with all the trash, and Nicole explains that it's all chemical waste and metal debris. So can she see the trash? Can she see what exactly it is? So it's immediately obvious to her what it is? Or does she just know everything for no reason through the power of bullshit? And speaking of that, then she proceeds to know everything for no reason through the power of bullshit, as she explains that there will be a 30-second window during which her friends will be able to board the platform through waste disposal chutes. She didn't build this, so why does she know all of this? Then Nicole points out the obvious, that there's artificial gravity and oxygen inside the airlock, even though her friends literally just landed on the ground. Everyone then fights some shadow swap bots that would normally only be seen with Robo-Robotnik, and when Eggman shows up saying he's somehow back from dead, Bunny gives him a well-deserved punch in the face, which sadly doesn't kill him. Then the missing Robians are spotted brainwashed working in an outer space sweatshop. Eggman jokes that he hasn't done anything wrong because look at all the new jobs I've created! Even though they aren't earning money to spend and help the economy. And Sonic says, "Create this!" and attacks Eggman rather cathartically, with Sally saying that she's never seen him so enraged, while Tails is flying while carrying her and Antoine's climbing down Bunny's extendable leg. So is Antoine gonna actually do anything here? It turns out Sonic and Eggman are on a conveyor belt headed towards some corrosive chemical spray, and the spray hits Eggman, which ends the story on a cliffhanger as Sonic says stunned that it wasn't Robotnik at all. So he was just saying he was brought back from the dead to mess with him. Considering he was using shadow swap bots, it should be an easy conclusion who this is. The second story returns to Amy, Tails, and Chuck at the library, with Chuck confusingly contradicting himself, as at first he says that saving Robotnik from the Overlanders was his biggest regret in life, but then he says he'd do it again because he thinks all life is sacred. You idiot. It's then explained that the king decided to let Robotnik help him because he already let Nate banish himself, so he didn't want anything like that to happen again. We see Kodos bringing Robotnik for the first time to the sanctum where Ixes, a former royal wizard at the time, developed some very promising devices. And it's here where he sees Robotnik knocking Kodos into his own silence because he wanted to rule the planet himself. And this completely contradicts Robotnik's biography because he's dressed up totally different from it. But the biography was propaganda, so it makes sense. Robotnik says that he'll make people think Kodos tampered with things he didn't understand, and that's how he disappeared. Wait, I thought for the longest time that Kodos was banished into his own silence for trying to overthrow the king, not thrown in there in secret by Robotnik himself. Is this a retcon? Well, to be fair, this is a very long-running series, so you pretty much have to accept the fact that they're making it up as they go along, and they can't possibly plan that far ahead, so you kind of have to accept a few little retcons here and there. Also, he says Kodos will have an eternity to get used to his own silence, because it grants eternal life, apparently. Robotnik then lied to the king that the Overlanders want to eradicate every living being on the planet except their own kind. Wait, was that a lie or not? If most of the Overlanders wanted that, that would explain why Robotnik wanted to, finally. But I'm not getting my hopes up. It's probably just him. Robotnik had figured that the two sides would neutralize each other, leaving him in control. In control of what? There'd be no more people left to rule. The first story was by Carl Bullers, an actor the king acted as a rock-stupid, obstructive bureaucrat trying to forbid Sonic to get rid of the satellites, having no faith in him. Sonic's friends, even Bunny, proved their loyalty by all coming with him. And it's up in the combined satellites place where the Robians are discovered to be forced to work, and where it's finally revealed that the old Robotnik didn't in fact somehow return from the dead. Good thing too, because that would have made no sense. And since he sent Shadow Swap out to fight, it's not like this wasn't foreshadowed. It was interesting, but I just can't forgive the story for the whole stupid king thing. Weren't they trying to have us believe he was a good king? Now he's so obsessed with trying to run the kingdom as if nothing had changed that he won't accept the fact that he needs the freedom fighters' help. He's become so insanely traditionalist from his suffering in his own silence that he'll even demonize the heroes who saved him just for being a change to his precious status quo, which considering the Great War wasn't even good to begin with. Oh, God forbid there aren't Jeffrey's Secret Service, who never really did anything. I mean, sure, they found Elias, but anyone could have done that. And the second story was by Ken Penders, and gave us basically no new information because we already knew that Kodos had been kicked into his own silence by Robotnik. It was completely pointless. Just made me mad at Chuck for saying that he'd save Robotnik's life again.